There we go.
All right, we
There
are
we
online
are.
for our fifth webinar. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We Today we are talking about one of the apps that, at least for me, made my life so much easier. We were just chatting before the webinar on one incident that we had last year in our crossing, helping a cruiser who had a problem with his standing rigging and was about to be dismasted, helped the cruiser to get in contact with the Barbados MRCC and get extra fuel to be able to motor to Barbados. But that is just one of the functions and one of the proofs of how crucial and useful apps like Noforeignland are. In that, we are honored, and I'm personally honored to be joined by Steve Neal, who developed the Noforeignland app and the website, together with his wife Helena. They run Noforeignland, which is, again, one of the main apps that I use as a full-time cruiser. We are also joined by Sami, my old friend and ex-colleague, who will help keeping everybody in line and keep everybody muted. Please keep your video and your audio muted during the presentation part of this webinar. After the presentation part that Steve will lead, we will have 30 minutes or longer, if needed, of Q&A. In the meantime, as Steve is giving the presentation, please put your questions or suggestions or remarks in the chat channel. And then after the presentation part, I will go over them. This webinar is recorded, and I'll share the link with the group, the flotilla that we have after the webinar. For those who have joined recently in our group, we are an ad hoc group of sailors who are preparing to do the transatlantic east-west crossing for the next season, the next winter. With that, Steve, all over to you. I'm going on mute. It's all yours.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, first of all. Yeah, so what I plan to do for the next hour or so is I'm going to run through some of the features that Noforeignland has got that we love and we use all the time. Elena and I have lived on our boat for about 12 years or more. And Noforeignland really started off as a fun project for the pair of us. We found there was a gap, there was a need for doing something a bit more up to date than having forums and things that you crawl around for information, and Google Maps didn't hit the mark, Facebook didn't quite hit the mark for us. So yeah, I'll tell you all about how we got started. In the first section that we got here, a little introduction section, I'll break down the history of it a little bit. I'll tell you a little bit about how we operate, how we run, and what our, if you like, business model is, and how we keep Noforeignland up and running. And then I'll dive into really what the app's really good at. We'll talk about how we gather destination information for you as sailors. We'll talk about yacht tracking, and I've got a couple of slides in there specifically on setting it up for Atlantic crossings and why you might want to do that. But also, one of the things that's really come out and we just hear all the time in feedback is the social aspect of having this app. So I'll take you through ways in which you connect with other boats, ways you can stay in touch with other boats, not miss them if they're nearby. And again, really all sort of driven from our own experiences of living on board for many, many years. There's not enough time, I don't think, to go through everything you can do on Noforeignland. So I've got a very short section at the end on other resources that we'll take a look at. And I'll give you some links and some ideas of other stuff that might be useful before we close for questions. So, like I was saying, it's about, I'm going to refer to my left, 8 years ago we wrote?
2017.
2017. Okay, so what's that? Quickly. 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
But 8 years ago, Elaine and I had already sailed from the UK down into the Mediterranean. We couldn't find gas bottles when we were in Portugal. We couldn't find places to get the dinghy ashore when we were in, anchored off a beach or something. It was getting a little bit frustrating. And one year we thought, well, we were in Marina di Ragusa in Italy. And yeah, got a question. Yes, I'll come on to moving your boat automatically, CV, in just a few minutes. We'll get on to that. So basically, the first website that got released as noforeignland.com was just for a bunch of friends all staying in Marina di Ragusa. Very sociable marina, lots of activities, lots of fun had by everyone, lots of good friendships made, and everyone trying to remember where everyone else in the marina was going that summer, whether it be Greece or to Italy, down to Malta, wherever it might be, and maybe making plans to meet up. So the very first incarnation of No Foreign Land would basically just allow you to update your boat position every 24 hours. So you knew if somebody was in the same area as you. And it worked. We met up with 2 or 3 boats while we were in Greece that year. And within a few weeks, we were getting messages through saying, we've met this boat, they're really nice, can they go on to No Foreign Land? So that was its genesis, really. That's where it all started off. It was just for identifying where your friends were. And we were researching Greece, so we stuck a few map markers on in the very early days, so we knew where the places were that we wanted to go, and we wanted to sort of plan our route. And it's grown from there, really. It's grown from us wanting something for supporting our lifestyle and moving around. If you've been on your, I've got no idea who I'm talking to, really. I haven't had a chance to get to know you, but if you've been living on your boat for a few months, it's probably still a whirlwind for you. If you've been on the boat for a few years, you'll know that you make really good friendships, and then you've got the heartbreak of saying goodbye to people that you want to stay friends with. So having notifications and updates when you're in the same region as them, or in the same, within a few miles of them, it really helps. This summer, we did quite a big loop in the Western Caribbean, and we met up with so many boats, some of them that we knew from the original year back in Sicily, in Italy, when we were first there. So we met up with boats in, well, definitely in the Bahamas. Where else do we meet up with people? We met up with people in Florida as well. So we did a big loop from Guatemala up through Belize, Cuba, Florida, went to the Bahamas for a bit, then to Jamaica and back down to Panama. And we met up with 2 or 3 boats that we knew from years ago, just because we're doing a big loop and we knew where they were, basically. So No Foreign Land is our go-to tool for that. That was really its sort of its initial aim. And things that make it popular now, we are growing at a frightening rate. We've got so much destination information, which is all crowdsourced. So all the customs offices, all of the marinas and anchorages and things that get added onto No Foreign Land are added by sailors that use the app. They give first-hand reports, they upload images. Other sailors come along, add more images, add reviews. So the information is about as up-to-date as you can get. We haven't bought a sailing guide for many, many years. When we first had No Foreign Land, of course, there's very little information on it. So we still were buying sailing guides. And then within a few years, we were just seeing that there was more information than we needed and more up-to-date information than any book had in it. And we just really just kind of switched over and used our website and app. The app's relatively new. The app has been out about for 2 years, the website for about 7 or 8. Yeah, the key things that make it work: yacht tracking, it's all for free. Destination information, again, all for free. We've got the social aspects. You can stay in touch with friends. You can reach out, meet people on different boats. You can do all sorts of fun stuff. A year or 2 ago, we released our blog as well, and we get lots of articles submitted by sailors all around the world that want to, tell their story, and we put things up on the blog. We're very sensitive to data privacy. I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet about Google and Facebook continually monitoring what you're doing, where you are. So our policy is strictly against that. We don't sell anyone's information that's on the platform. And we don't want to pollute the experience with advertisements and allowing spam. So we're pretty strict about all that stuff. Behind the scenes, you've got me and Elena, primarily. I'm a retired, I was retired, and I got back into Noforeignland. So I'm a developer. I've worked on all sorts of different software projects over the years. So this was me, initially me keeping my foot in the skill set. It's got a little bit out of hand. So I've gone from being a back-end developer and occasional website developer onto doing all sorts of things now, including apps and stuff as well. And Elena's background is in data processing and data management. So she really takes care of data moderation and making sure that everything's in good shape on the platform. I keep the platform up and running, and I do all the innovation, all the coding and stuff. We do have some additional helpers. We have people that help moderate, and we've got blog writers and blog editors. Feel free to drop us a note either on Noforeignland, or you can get in touch after this seminar if you'd like to write a blog article on anything, or if you want to give us a hand with data moderation. We get hundreds of updates every day. So it's like a hamster on a wheel. You're just continually working to make sure that everything's in good shape. We do work hours on it, and it does cost money to run. So we do have a Patreon page where we ask people to go along and set up a $2-5 a month pledge, something like that, to help us keep it running. So we are kind of financially independent. We don't need to advertise on the platform, but equally we can't afford to pay people. So if you're happy to volunteer, then get in touch. We're always happy to get more people on board. Okay. So let's delve into the first area where we're sort of growing and been strong for many years. That's destination information. Like I said a few minutes ago, Google Maps is great if you want to find a restaurant or a hotel or something sort of land-based. But if you want to find a dinghy dock, or you want to find a boat mechanic, a laundrette, or any of these things that you rely on when you're on board a boat, it just doesn't hit the mark. And that's where we really kind of found our niche. We've got, I don't know now, what, 20, 30 different marker types that we use in total. We color code them. Blue things are places you can stay with your boat. So anchorages, marinas, you can see they're in blue. Green is stuff that's ashore, including the first one here. That I want. Can you guys see my, Peter, can you see the pointer if I do that? Anyone?
Yeah,
Someone?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, all right, that helps. So yeah, we've got dinghy docks, boat services, propane or butane gas for your cookout. If you need a laundrette ashore, you got that one there. These black ones are customs and immigration offices or an agent. If you go for the rubber stamp, you'll find agents. And then we've got attractions are in orange. So this is wildlife. This is a tourist attraction, a dive or snorkeling spot, hikes. And then we've got the red ones, which are little speech bubbles, and that's pretty new. They've probably not been available in a year yet. And they allow you to drop group chats on the map somewhere. So if you want to reach out to other boaters in the area with a question, you drop a question mark on the map. If you want to maybe promote an event of some sort, you're going to do beach yoga the next day and you want people to join you, you can drop an event on the map. If you're looking to crew or looking for crew, then you can drop a little chat bubble with a crew icon on it. If you guys are going down through the Canaries, which most boats do on this route, then yeah, you'll probably see a few of those along the way where people are trying to get crew and opportunities to jump on the boat with you. So like I said, all the destination information is crowdsourced. We've got tens of thousands of people using the app every month. And majority of them make contributions of some sort, whether it's just adding a review or an image, or they're actually getting involved and modifying markers on the map, updating descriptions and things. So the amount of information we get sort of flooding into this is just continual. It's working really nicely for us. We think we've got the world's biggest database of sailing points of interests. Maybe not specifically anchorages or marinas only, but across the board in terms of things that you need when you're on the move. Pretty sure that we've got the biggest data set that's out there. Okay. So who can do what? Who contributes what? Well, anyone can update these markers that you've got on the map, so you can add reviews and images. anyone can report errors. So if you see something that's wrong, hit the little report button, and one of our moderators, probably Elena, will take a look at it and clean the data up a little bit. So if, for example, you find a restaurant on the map and it's clearly not there, it's been closed, or a laundrette that's closed down, report the error and we'll delete the marker and make sure that the information stays as up to date as we can. If you want to get more involved, then you can earn your contributor badge and you read our guidelines, answer a few simple questions, you get granted the badge, and now you've got much more input on the map. You can add new markers. You can move existing markers. So if the laundrette wasn't closed down but had moved across the street or into the next street, you can move that marker and correct the information that's on there. Okay, it's dead easy. The questions aren't hard. There's 3 multiple choice questions and it takes you about 3 or 4 minutes to read the guidelines. The guidelines are really there just to make sure that we've got a consistent user experience. When we first opened this up, we had all sorts of nonsense and horrible stuff hitting the map, and it was just really difficult to keep it managed and keep it tidy. So what we aim for in Noforeignland is that all of the information for a particular place is behind a single marker. So one of our biggest bugbears that we get is someone adds 2 anchorage markers in the same bay. We look really closely at that and see whether it's justifiable. Are there different anchoring conditions in different corners of a big bay, for example? In that case, it's good that you've got different descriptions. But if it's just a bunch of markers all on top of each other, that's not nice for you. You've got to click on 2, 3, 4 markers just to get different opinions on the same place. So our guidelines are quite strict on this. We make sure that the information is managed with a single marker. So there on the map, for example, you can see that blue marker right in the middle. That's the Prickly Bay Marina, and we make sure there's only one of those. We also want it really, so when you turn up in a new place, the first thing you should do is reach for Noforeignland, hit the location button so the map zooms to where you are, and then you can have a look around and orient yourself. So let's say we've just arrived in Grenada and we need to check in. How are we going to do that? Well, we look on Noforeignland and clearly you've got a dinghy dock underneath that first red arrow, and then the black hat over on the right there. That's the Customs and Immigration Office. You can tap on that. The preview pops up down here at the bottom of the screen, and then you can scroll it up for more detail. I'm going to switch over. Got that sort of area lined up here on the app. So if I put that up, you should be able to see the app on the screen there now as well. So that's Grenada. We could zoom in down here, Prickly Bay's in here, and there's that exact location that we've got. One on the app here, so you've got the sort of preview text above them, so you can see that's the marina. Pops it up at the bottom. We've got the dinghy dock there, and you've got the customs office. If you're used to sailing in Europe, you're probably a little bit indifferent towards custom offices. When you get to the Eastern Caribbean, you'll be in and out of these places like it's a donut shop. You'll spend a lot of time stood in line, filling in forms and getting between different offices, because every island, and they're pretty close to one another, is its own sort of territory, it's its own country. So you do check in and out as you move up through the island chain. So having some advanced information on this is really useful. So if I open this one up, you can see we've got some photos in here. There's one with some opening hours on it, taken from somewhere, I don't know where that is. But even having a picture of the building really helps. This is back in town somewhere. And looking at that, it's not immediately obvious. That could be anything really. What do you got there? You got a little sign by the door there. But if you didn't know where that was, you might spend a bit of time looking for it. But if you're wandering around town and you know what it looks like, it's going to make life a lot easier for you. And there you can see information that we've got about that particular office. And again, a bunch of reviews on here. Doesn't look like too bad a place, actually. Lots of helpful comments, lots of 5-star reviews. Jump back to my slides. There we go. Where are we? Okay. I could have stayed in the app for this one, couldn't I? You probably noticed actually, and I'm going to jump back to the app. It's easier sometimes just to talk through when you've got it in your hand. So there we are, Grenada. We just arrived. We don't know where we should be going, and that's what you see on Noforeignland. Heaps and heaps and heaps of markers. So one of the key things, one of the key skills with this is to actually find what it is you're looking for. And the amount of times we direct people to filtering the map, you wouldn't believe. So that little icon in the search bar there, if I just tap on that, you'll see it gets highlighted. There, that little bit there. If I tap on that, I get these quick filters come up. And we can do all sorts of things. So let's say that we want to go down, I'll go down to the black section. I want to see port of entry offices, and there they are. Everything else gets removed from the map. And I can check out the options that I've got for the different, don't go there, obviously, 1 star. That's at the marina, get some good reviews. So it gives you sort of bird's eye view without all of the clutter on there. There's a bunch of different things you can filter for. So if I want to see the anchorages, for example, I select anchorages. And now I can go around and have a look and think, all right, well, where do we want to be when we get to Grenada? What are we going to go and see? And go and see St. David's Harbour. Love that picture. That's a good one. Got a review on there. Well, these guys absolutely loved it. Oh, they reviewed it quite recently. Let's tap on their name. We go have a chat, and we can open up a chat session with them maybe. Talk to them and ask if they're still in the area. Any questions we got about it. We use that quite a bit ourselves. Let's go back. Was it this one? I can't remember which one it was now. St. David's. There we go. That one there. So let's say we've got here. Turn the filters off. And we can see there's a bunch of boats there already. So actually, we might be better off talking to this boat using the chat, or talking to this boat using the chat. And we do that. So we did it, was it last year? Year before, actually. It really got us out of a bind. We were in Honduras, and we were going out to quite remote, well, one of the more remote bay islands in Honduras. And the anchorage had a bit of a tight entrance, and it was shallow. We draw 2 meters. And there were 2 or 3 boats on Noforeignland in the anchorage. So we just sent them all a message and found out what route they took getting in. And we got a couple of replies. And the route that we were going to take would have been a big problem for us. We wouldn't have made it. And a couple of boats said they got quite close on the same route and that they'd found a much better way in, which wasn't charted. Some of the charts in these countries are appalling. So if you can get first-hand response from someone who actually knows it and has been in there quite recently, you're going to be much better off. Let me get back to my screen there. Okay. So I've demonstrated that first one there, showing you how you can find a particular type of place, but you may have seen you can scroll left and right on there, and you've got all sorts of different filtering options. If you're following boats, you can just filter them out very quickly to see where your friends are. If you've arrived somewhere, for example, and you want to get in touch with someone and you're not sure how fresh their boat is on the map, then you can also filter by how recently they've moved. So you can open up a drop down in those filters, and you can see on this the middle screen and the last one. Here is the view of all the boats in Prickly Bay, and there I filtered it to ones that have moved in the last couple of days. So you can be sort of getting fresh information on those. I'll share these slides via Peter after this talk, and the links in the bottom there will take you off to some blog articles that we've written that go into lots of detail on all the different things you can do with the app. So if you're interested in that, Peter can make that available for you, I'm sure. Again, something else that Elena and I use a lot is we use these lists, so you can add places to your favorites lists. You can share lists, quite a recent addition. So let me show you that in the app as well. Jump back in here. There we go. So currently, our boat is over here in Panama. We sailed there from Guatemala, about where that boat is, all the way up to Florida, through the Bahamas. Why am I doing that? Look, this is what we did. So this is our track that's been recorded. That's what we did last year from Guatemala, Cuba, Florida, Bahamas, Jamaica, and down here. It was a battle. We weren't expecting quite so rough seas, but the Western Caribbean seems to get the stink of it, especially around the north of Colombia. It can be quite nasty. So we had a lot of long trips and a lot of very, very rough seas. So next year, we're taking it easy. I'll come back to how you do all this stuff in a minute, but next year we're taking it quite easy. We're going to hang out in and around mostly this area here in San Blas, and we've been recommended lots of anchorages and lots of nice places to go and see. And when we get recommended something, you can see some of these have got little heart icons on them. Those are ones that we've saved in our favorites. So again, I can filter here and just see ones that I've got saved. So we can start planning where we're going to go, what we're going to do. Everything that gets saved, you can put into little lists down here. So this is our 2025 Panama season. And this is a list that Elena and I both edit. We kind of collaborate on this one, so we can share notes on it. So Sulidup, or however you would say that. Some friends of ours on a boat called Bandos told us this is a place we had to go. Same with Banadup down here. We've got another friend recommended a store where he found lots of really good fabric for the boat, which is quite difficult to get in this area. Places to go diving, all this stuff's on here. And again, if we want specifically to look at this list, then I hit the filter button at the top there, and everything that's on that list now is brought into focus. So we can see those places. So this works as a really nice planning tool. You can share lists with your crew members, with your friends, and you can also create public sharing links if you want them to be sort of shared more widely on the internet. Say you're doing a blog and you want to list all the best places to provision in the northern end of the Bahamas. Create the list on Noforeignland, get the sharing link, and put the link in your blog. I'm guessing if you're doing an Atlantic crossing, that like us, you've got Starlink on board. It's a great tool. Not everyone does, and if you don't, or if you think you're going to have it turned off for a little while, then you don't need to be disconnected from all this information. You tap on the bottom of the app where it says offline maps, and then you can go and you select areas, you download them. All of the map tiles and all of the place information, all the place reviews gets downloaded and cached on your phone. So the app works really nicely when you don't have an internet connection. Last slide, I think, in this section, before we look at boat tracking, we also allow some third parties to publish data on Noforeignland. At the moment, we've got two. We're talking with a third, but we're not sure how that's going to go. But if you want the previous AUKUS seminar, you will have met Rui, and Rui publishes all of his orca data on Noforeignland. And if you head into the Caribbean, there is a little bit more crime there. Not that we ever had any, touch wood, we've not ever had any incidences, but it is known to be have some particular bays that maybe you don't want to spend the night in. And there's the Caribbean Safety Security Network also publish all of their reports and their incidents on Noforeignland. So you can go into your settings and subscribe to these markers if you want that extra data on there. Okay, so yacht tracking. When we crossed the Atlantic in 2019, we had an Iridium Go on board, and the app was, well, actually it wasn't an app, it was just a website. So early days, and being the geeky type that I was, I thought, well, I can get this to integrate with the website and I can get automatic ocean tracking on board. So we were sat in the anchorage at Faro in Portugal, and I wrote some code that would allow our website to receive the Iridium Go messages and update our position on the map. And we use that for the Atlantic crossing, along with a bunch of other boats. You'll find that on that route, if you're going from, especially if you're going from the Mediterranean, I think probably it would be the same from Northern Europe. There are many points that you'll stop at on the way down to the Canaries, and then depending on your route, you may go to Cape Verde like we did, but eventually you're going to go across, and you will catch up and overtake and, you know, be caught up again with a bunch of boats along the way. So it gets really sociable. It's really nice. So as we were traveling, we met people that had Garmin inReaches. We met people that were using all sorts of things like spot devices and things. And so we'd integrate with those as well. So by the end of the year, by the time we'd crossed over the Atlantic, we probably had about 4 or 5 different tracking systems that you could use on Noforeignland. And since then, we've added in many, many more. We've got Yellowbrick, we've got Predict Wind integrate with us as well. If you've got a predict wind tracking map, you can ask them to just forward your position to Noforeignland, and they will do that free of charge. So you can just repeat your tracking from them on Noforeignland. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. The help page has got a complete list, and if you click on them, it will take you through to specific setup pages. So the question we had earlier, can you explain how to move my boat automatically? Yes. You just find out what tracking device you've got, if any, and then you go and set that up. So yeah, I think there's like 13 or 14 different tracking systems that we integrate with now in various flavors. The link at the bottom there, help boat move on our website, is to our help section, where you've got all the ways in which you can automatically move your boat on the map. If you don't have a satellite tracker on board, but you've got Starlink, then another option is to use our app. The app has got GPS tracking built into it. So you hit the record button, you start recording your journey. And if you've got Starlink, it will periodically upload your track. It uploads a really accurate track, a little bit like if you're recording it on Navionics, for example. So you get a really nice accurate track. So when you get somewhere, you will see the route that you took into a bay, between the reef pass and whatever else. Really accurate GPS track. I know Elaine's going to mention it if I don't. And the thing that I wanted to sort of mention here really is, if you do set this up, please test it before you set off. We've had numerous requests from people mid-ocean saying, I don't think my tracking's working, because they've set it up in Mindelo, or they've set it up in Faro, and they've gone off making a big passage, and they've got Starlink up and their boat's still back where they left it. And invariably, it's just a configuration thing that they haven't checked on their particular device. So yeah, we quite often get people mid-ocean saying, help, my tracking's not working, and we have to help them figure it out. So test it before you go. Okay, once you've got a track building up in the app, you've then got the opportunity to start sharing stories along it. So in the screenshots here, you can see I've got the app and the website open, and there's some friends of ours who used our app actually on an old phone. They left it plugged in and just sat on the chart table, and it tracked them all the way through the Northwest Passage. They uploaded a bunch of stories, and it's been really good fun following them on a quite treacherous and quite interesting journey. We met them in Cuba, and you can see their track goes up from Cuba there. So we met them there this year. Really fun people, helped us out with the problem that we had on our boat. And so of course they got personal consulting services when it came to setting up their tracking. And he scrapped his layout and just used the app for the whole trip. So yeah, once you got stories, you can post stories on there. You'll get likes, you'll get comments that you can respond to in the feedback section there, much like any other social media platform. You don't need to use the app for your tracking. You can use Iridium, you can use Predict Wind, or whatever tracking system you've got. As long as it draws that red line with the arrows on it on the map, you can then tap on that line and start adding your own stories, and invite your friends and family back home to see what you're up to, and what beach you're on sipping cocktails, and what storm you just made your way through, and sharks and everything else that people always ask you about, pirates and things that people want to know about back home. Done a little bit of work on this recently. So it was one of those things that's been on my to-do list for ages. So now you can actually upload complete galleries onto the stories as well. So this is one that we posted a little bit earlier this year, where we caught a couple of tuna coming across from Jamaica down to Panama. So we've got image galleries on there. And the other thing that's quite cool that you can do, and again, I'll just jump back to the app to demo this. Kind of showed it already. So if I go in there and I say, show my journey, it's going to load up our journey, and you've got this sliding row along the top. If you do nothing, that will default to show each year that you've been on Noforeignland. But if you want to, you can go up into the settings up here, top right, open the settings up. You can define your own chapters, which is what I've done in the app. So there we've got our sailing from 2025, where we went from Guatemala to Panama. Last year, we just had a little jaunt around Belize and Honduras. Before that, we came down from the States. 21, we went up to the Chesapeake in the United States and back. big season in the Bahamas. During COVID, we went all the way up to New York. Love that picture. That's Elena swimming under our boat. And there's another one here that I love as well. I always got to show this to everyone. And as I've got a captive audience, you can have a look. So there's, we went into New York as well. So you can really build up a nice log, a nice history of the places that you've been. So there's, whoops, there's our Atlantic crossing from 2019. So you can see our route there. I've posted blog articles. I've posted videos on here. So we had a fantastic crossing. I hope your crossing is as much fun as ours was. We averaged 7 knots from Mindelo to French Guiana. And these are the conditions we had the whole way. Big rolly seas. Wind vane doing its job. It was absolutely perfect. Really nice crossing. And it's there. We can go back and look at that whenever we want. We can find stories nice and quickly. So that's new. Those chapters, if you've not used that for a while, they're new. You can turn them off just by tapping on the red one, and you're back to seeing everything from day one. Okay, so that's chapters. Jump back out. That's just to give you a sense of the scale of the number of boats that are on Noforeignland. This was, I took this about a year ago, I think, this screenshot. I just found the slide and thought I'd drop it in here. So we have got tens of thousands of boats, you know, sort of continuously tracking. We've got quite a lot of systems on the back end that have to integrate with all the different tracking systems. So it's not a trivial enterprise. We're really quite, if we say it ourselves, we're quite proud of what we've done really just over a few years working on our boat with mostly SIM card for connections. And more recently, we've got Starlink on board since that's come out. Okay. So the last sort of big thing that I want to talk about really is the social aspect of what you can do with Noforeignland. We really, like I said, its original intent when we were in Marina di Ragusa in Sicily was that we would not miss out on catching up with friends while we're out and sailing. I can guarantee you that you will meet really cool people doing your crossing this year. And I hope you manage to stay in touch with them, and I hope you get onto Noforeignland. I hope you get them on it, because it genuinely works. It's great for this. And I'm not selling it. We're not making huge amounts of money off. We're not making money off Noforeignland. It's a bit of a passion project. Go use it. It really works. So if you meet someone, they're on Noforeignland, the thing to do is hit the follow button on their boat page. So go in there, hit the follow button. It works just like when you're saving places. You can save them into different lists. So if you've got someone that you really want to avoid, you can put them in the stay clear of these people list, which I obviously haven't got because we get on with everyone. But yeah, it works just like saving places. You can create as many lists as you like. You've seen the filters in. So again, you can hit that filter button up at the top and you can just restrict the map to showing the boats you're following, but the map will default to this if you zoom out. So again, oh man, I should have just had notes and gone through all of this on the screen. Let me bring it back up again. It's a fun thing to play with. It's good actually, because some people you won't ever meet up with again, you know, but you've got amazing friends all over the world. So if I zoom out here, we've got so many people that we know out in the Pacific. We don't have an intention of going that way. We're quite enjoying ourselves in the Western Caribbean. So we're probably going to stay there for another year or two at least. We've got friends back over in Europe. These guys we met in Guatemala. They're on a motorboat and they've tracked their whole journey across the Atlantic and done little video logs of it the whole way across. So we can see the nonsense that they're getting up to, kite surfing in the middle of the Atlantic and all sorts of crazy things like that. So yeah, just by default, when you zoom out, you will see all the boats that you're following. Where's Novara? There's Novara there. These are the guys that have just been up through the Northwest Passage, which quite an undertaking. Pretty cool. Right. So, okay, you're going to meet people in marinas, you're going to meet people on beaches, on hikes, and all sorts of things. But you can also, in Noforeignland, you can join the groups. So if you look down at the bottom bar down here, where's my mouse pointer gone? Oh no. hit the corner of the screen. There's the mouse pointers down here. You can jump into the groups pages. Our most popular group by far, if you're sailing with kids on board and you're not looking at the screen, stop whatever you're doing. Come and have a look at this, because this is one thing that we just get the most positive feedback on out of just about anything in the app. We have people coming up to us on beach. We got given presents this year in the Bahamas by people coming up to us saying, thank you, you've saved our sanity. We've met so many other boats with kids on through using your app, which is, you know, it's always nice to get positive feedback. But basically that red arrow there that's pointing to that funnel, that's our filter button. So if you're a member of a group, you can tap on that filter button and you will see where all the other group members are. So this being the Kids for Sail group, these are all boats with kids on board. So if you're in the middle of nowhere, don't go posting on a Facebook group to see where there might be another kid boat. Do this instead. Let me jump back into the app quickly. I've actually just joined that group to demo this. So if I go into the groups, Kids for Sail comes up, come in here, hit the filter button, and where are the kiddies around me? Well, there's 4 in the marina here. So we could send them a message, see what they're up to. We've got one the other side of the canal about to go out. Some in Bocas del Toro, but you'll see as we zoom out here, US East Coast, there's plenty. Eastern Caribbean, there's a whole bunch. Loads of them in Europe, all through Greece and places. And again, you've got that chip at the top that says the map filters are on. So if I come back into where we are with our boat, do that. There's the kiddie boats. I turn the filters off and then bosh, these are all the boats. Yeah, so all the boats without the kiddies being shown again as well. So it really helps you focus in and find people that have got common interests. There are groups for people that want to jam on musical instruments. There are groups for people that you know, want to share cooking tips and all sorts of things. So again, another nice tool that we're really quite happy with. That's working. I think I showed you the chat already, so you can just set up one-to-one chats between you and other sailors. You can now also, and again, this is a fairly new feature, you can drop chat bubbles on the map. Whereas 2 years ago, we reached out individually to these boats that were in the anchorage that we were wondering how we were going to get in. You can now drop a question in that anchorage here. So on the screenshots that we've got here, you can see we've dropped a question, or someone has dropped this bay here, and they're asking, is it busy at Placencia? And then you open that up and you've got 2 tabs with a question and then a chat page, and that's a group chat. So we've had 1, 2, 3 people join in on that chat. There's a bunch of different things you can post with these community posts. You've got the straightforward question, you've got events, so again, beach yoga or a drinks evening, a barbecue somewhere, get a load of people up. We've seen a bunch. Someone organized a birthday party for their son. They'd just arrived in Georgetown in the Bahamas, really busy anchorage, hundreds of boats around, and they just posted one of these things up in it. So come along and join us. And they had about 40 kids turn up and had a huge party and made the day for them. That's on our blog. She wanted to write an article about her experience with that, so that's the last. Yeah, okay, so yeah, a bunch of different things you can put the community posts on the map for. Last thing that I want to cover, I think, in this chapter, really, we wanted to add from day one, but it took us a little while to get the resources together and spend the time working on it. We wanted these community posts, and we wanted to be able to trigger notifications when your friends were near or around you. That walkie-talkie button that you see at the top of the app, and again, I'm going to jump back. So this one up here with the walkie-talkie on it, we're in the middle of Portugal right now. We're having a bit of time away from the boat with visiting family, but even inland here in Portugal, I can see there's some boats nearby that we know, and a couple of people have posted temporary navigation warnings. So it shows you the distance and the bearing. So Emerald at the top there, they're 100 miles south of us. Oh, they just moved half a mile. They're 105 nautical miles south of us. Concher and Jojo are similar distances. Actually, Jojo we met in Cuba as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've not known them for long. We've only known them for about 6 months. So they've come back to, where are they?
Lagos.
Is that Lagos, is it? Oops, typical marker. Yeah, we're in the Lagos. Yeah, you're right. So where did Jojo go? There they are. That's Jojo's got a little heart on it. So yeah, they were planning on returning to Europe, and they've done it. So the near me feed up here will basically, you get a little red dot up here, just like I've got on my notifications when anything new comes up in here. So we've got 3 boats that we know within 100 miles, and we've got a couple of community posts. So a good thing to do when you arrive somewhere is if there's a red dot on that, tap on it, see which boats are near you, see what events are going on. If you're somewhere where there's loads of stuff going on, that feed's going to get quite full up. If you're somewhere that's quite remote, then you may want to expand its radius. So if I come up here in the settings for my feed, I can control the perimeter that I'm interested in. So I'm only interested in friends that are within, say, 20 or 50 miles. Don't want to see community posts, but I do want to see the boats that I follow. And you can just configure that to show as much or as little information as you like. Turn those sliders all the way down, you'll see nothing in there. Turn them all the way up, you'll see loads and loads of stuff. Okay, those are the main 3 chapters that I wanted to go through. Again, destination information, all crowdsourced, all completely free to access. Yacht tracking, again, integrating with, I think, probably 12, 14, 15 different systems out. I've genuinely lost count, all completely free. All the social features in there that we just run through as well. But on top of that, we've got a few other things that are worth discussing. We've got our blog site, the Noforeignland magazine, which is written, all the articles are written by community members, including a bunch of how-to guides that I've written that are on there as well. So I think, yeah, Elena got me that link up. Link number 1 there will actually give you a list of all of the articles on setting your boat up, setting up tracking, how to do community posts. Whenever anything new comes out on the app, I try to share a little article there explaining what it is, why we've got it, and how it works. Link number 2 will save you probably a couple of $100 if you go and have a look at that one. You can print out these big PDF files that we've got onto Fabric, cut them out, and make your own courtesy flags. So we've got different packs for different places around the world. So you can jump in, have a look at those, pick the area that you're going to. So in there, that's the burger button up in the top left. Courtesy flags. That will take you to our website. We've had to put Cloudflare up because we were getting hacked, some people trying to get to the site. And then you've got Eastern Mediterranean. Wait for the image to load up. There we go. Eastern Med, Western Med. You guys are going to be looking for Caribbean, Southeast Caribbean. So a list of countries there. You can download these, print them out onto Fabric, cut them out, have a bit of fun with your sewing machine, and there you go. You've got a complete flag pack. We've also got the, what they call signal flags. If you're doing the Ark required that you've got signal flags on board because they want you, not because they ever think you're going to use them to signal, they just want your boat looking pretty for all the photographs. So I think that's a £200, so 200 something euros purchase to get all those flags. You can get it there for nothing, print it for about 15 quid, and then stitch them together yourself. Perfectly good flags. And there's a bunch of Noforeignland flags in each of the packs as well, so you can hang those up on your boat, share those out if you like. The other stuff in there, we're really delighted with people adding photographs all the time, and Elena and I were quite into photography ourselves, so we thought it'd be fun to put a photo competition in. So each month, all of the images that get uploaded to places come in here, and we get some amazing pictures going. And there's a drone shot of somewhere. Look at that, stunning. So people take this really quite seriously now. So if you're into your photography, we can't give you a cash prize, but we will give you a badge. Yep, so you can get a photographer badge on your profile that shows that you won the competition. Every month that resets and we get a whole bunch of new photos up, and you can go back, you can, up here, you can see who's in the lead and who won for different years. So there's last month's for August. Beautiful, beautiful pictures in there. It's just fun to go and have a look at from time to time. Yeah, I think that was it that I wanted to talk about in there. Oh yeah, the other thing, help and FAQ pages. We do spend a lot of time answering support questions, so we quite often end up just directing people to a help page. So they're all available in the app and on the website. If you're setting up boat tracking, go to the website. You need to sign in on the website. Boat tracking is all set up on web pages. That's not available in the app. It was just too much work for us to pile through. If you really get stuck, or if you've got any good ideas for stuff that we should be doing in Noforeignland, then there's the email address there. You can reach us at support@noforeignland.com. If we're busy, if we're off sailing somewhere, it might take us a day or two to get back to you, but otherwise we can, we respond pretty quickly to those. And that's it. Didn't do bad, 52 minutes, that's all right. That's my hour slot, almost filled. So I'm happy just to turn it over to, I'm not sure exactly how you like to run the format, Peter, but I'm happy to take questions now.
Yeah, I have some questions that came in via the chat and some
Yeah.
questions that came up. Steve, thanks for this. Yeah, you obviously do this in between your cruising and your personal life. How much time do you actually spend on maintaining the website and the app? Give us an idea.
Yeah, it's because initially it was something that we spend a couple of days on a week playing with. It's pretty much a full-time job now. So yeah, we spend more hours than I'd care to confess on it, to be honest with you. But we enjoy it. We get lots of positive feedback, and we feel like we're giving something back. So yeah, we're cool with it. But yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
And in that, for those of us that do this stuff pro bono, very often we get we start things in the best of intentions, but we get confronted sometimes with difficult users or people trying to spam. How do you deal with because in the group that we have about 130 people. Um, um, so our efforts that we spend on moderating and trying to get the spammers out and the people that are not positive of the group, get them out, is quite limited. But you have thousands and thousands of users. How do you and Helena filter these people and the amongst the thousands of messages that you have and postings that you have? How do you filter it out?
Yeah. Do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, we rely on the users to report spammers. And when someone is reported, I go investigate to see the number of messages they are sending. And if I've got 2-3 people reporting the same person, there's definitely a spammer. Sometimes I ask for screenshots of the messages to send it to me so I can really say it's a spammer. If it is someone just contacting boats because they want to be crew on the boats, I send a message saying, please don't do that again. You can post a community post, as crew available. But spammers, we had a few proper spammers and we blocked those accounts. So they can no longer send any messages.
Yeah, we really have kind of, it's the most frustrating thing, So we sometimes get people doing things like posting their business cards in anchorages and all sorts of places in the area. We get people trying to maybe sort of do phishing style chat messages with people, and we either delete their account or we delete all traces of what they've been going through. And it does happen. It seems
Yeah.
to come in fits and starts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You'll end up with someone spamming a particular area, or you'll end up with
Business I usually contact and say stop, and they will stop. I never had problems. Once they know,
Mhm.
listen, these are the rules, and it's fine. But yeah, but we had a few people, they not very, they didn't like, they had good intentions.
Yeah.
So those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we police it. We rely primarily on people to report when there's someone being, behaving inappropriately, or they've found some offensive content or whatever it might be. There's all sorts of reporting mechanisms in the app that allow us to keep it a nice environment to play, basically. So we take that quite seriously. But yeah, it is one of the more unfortunate tasks. It'd be completely avoidable if
And frustrating, no? As people that provide a service for free, it's frustrating, no?
It is, yeah. We could be spending our time doing more constructive things than
Yeah.
policing the internet, but it comes with the territory, sadly. But yeah.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I always wonder about hosting this website and the app, and the efforts that you guys put, the hours you put in there, in the end, it costs. How do you cover your cost? Because the app doesn't have ads, it doesn't have within app covering cost. How do you cover your cost, Steve?
Elena and I, we don't take any payment for this really, but we do have running costs. We need to pay for, server time. We need to pay for
The
external
hosting,
server.
no?
Yeah, the hosting. Yeah, the hosting is
Yeah,
one of the,
apart from your own time, the
yeah.
hosting
I mean,
cost.
if we were, there's no way on earth we could do this if we were paying a team of developers and a team of, data managers to work on it. It's just completely, infeasible with that kind of model. We enjoy doing it. We get a lot of satisfaction out of doing it. So we work really as volunteers on it. But we do have costs that we can't avoid, like hosting. Services like language translation aren't for free. If you're using them in an app, they're free if you go along to Google Translate or DeepL or whatever you use. But to actually use those from software, you pay for those. The map is a big expense. Mapbox charges us quite a lot of money just to use their mapping servers to provide all the tiles and all of the services that they give us. So we've pulled together a lot of, quite complicated pieces to put this app together. And many of those pieces come with a price tag. So we do rely on people to support what we're doing. We kind of work for free on it, and all we ask in return is that for the cost of a coffee goes on a Patreon subscription, and lots of people do that. So it doesn't cost us anything to run it. We don't spend money out of our pockets on it. It's just our time that we put into it. We get asked that a lot, and it's quite a complicated question to answer. So I hope that hits the mark.
Yeah. Now, one of the questions was on tracking. Could you on the screen, Steve, show us how automatic tracking can be enabled
It's
for
really good.
people that will do the
Oh,
translation?
yeah. I mean, if you're just using the app, I can show you the app.
Yeah.
Let's jump that back up again.
There was the one that I tested for you guys before you released it. I think 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think that was the app, wasn't it? Yeah, you weren't using an InReach or anything like that, were you?
No. We were using a prototype Iridium.
Yeah. That I remember. Yeah. You were dealing more with Elena than me at the time, but
Yeah.
when you're going to set off sailing somewhere, just like you would with Navionics, where you can hit the start button in Navionics and it puts that yellow track across your iPad, you can come in. Everything for your boat is on this red button down at the bottom. Whoops, I did a long press. That's a hack. That's a nice little shortcut. That's not publicly known, actually. I use that all the time. So if you want to get back to your boat quickly, press and hold that red button at the bottom, and it will show you where your boat is on the map. But if you just tap it, you get the sheet comes up here, and a whole bunch of things you can do. A popular thing to do is just say, move my boat. So you hit that first one, I won't use
And
GPS.
that's manually
This is
moving.
this is doing it
Yeah.
manually. So I can just say, okay, well,
Yeah,
that's about here, and it will just move it there for you. But the better one to use really is this record my boat track, the one in the middle there with the play icon on it. So if I go in here, you just hit the record button, and that will
Yeah.
now turn on the location service in your phone, and it will start tracking. So you've got that 6, 7, 8 seconds running at the top. I've done 0 nautical miles, no days, and I don't even have an average speed yet. I'm sat here talking to you.
Yeah, and that's directly
that's it.
tracking from the app via an internet connection you have on the boat. But as you explained before, you also interface with other tracking applications like Iridium or Yellow Brick, etc., to be able to interface the boat tracking.
I would suggest, if you've got Starlink on board, do what our friends on Novara did that went up through the Northwest Passage. They hit that start button and they just left it running, and that's tracked them the whole way through. It saves it on the phone as well. So if your Starlink goes off for an hour or two, you've got no connection, it saves it. I've got this red switch here turned on, so I've got live updates on. So every few minutes, it will send that detailed track up to our servers, and it gets appended to the end of your journey line. So that is quite a quick. That's the quickest, easiest way of doing it.
Which is better than the one on Predictwind, because on Predictwind, when you track your position, if you're not online, it doesn't track you, and it doesn't have a backtrack or a buffer of previously saved locations.
Okay. I would.
But you are buffering locations even if people are not online.
Yeah,
It buffers locations, and the moment you're online, it uploads all of the previous locations.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the Data Hub, Predictwind's Data Hub, does that. We see some really detailed tracks coming in from that, but other systems may not. Pretty sure that does. Yeah, so I hate to contradict you, but I think in that case, we do pretty much the same that Predictwind does with their data, which is fairly expensive piece of hardware. It's a few $100s, and you've got to pay a monthly subscription to use it as well. So it's we're different in that respect. But there's other free options. Signal K, if you've got Signal K on board, there's a plugin for Signal K that you once it's.
What is Signal K, Steve?
Signal K is an onboard like system. Completely separate to what we do. It's an onboard system, a little bit like SeaTalk in Ray Marine or Enemy A2000. It interfaces with everything that's on your boat, and it gives you like a unified display, and it can do all sorts of things. And people write plugins for it. And someone wrote a Noforeignland plugin for Signal K. So if you've got a Victron Servo or something that you can run, people run them on Raspberry Pis and things as well. If you've got something running Signal K on your boat, you can put their plugin in and it will update you on Noforeignland. You don't have to remember to hit the stop and start buttons on the app even. It will just do it all the time. That's proving to be very, very popular. A lot of people are seeing more and more people using that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Question from Julian and Julia. If we create a blog on NFL, is it available to everybody who's on NFL, or can we restrict access?
No, if you publish something on your boat page on Noforeignland, anyone can see it. Anyone who's got the app can see it. If you put a link to your blog in one of your posts, then you'll see a nice preview image, and the link will be there. But if that link has some sort of password on it, then only the people that you give the password to can read your blog. But
so you can you can put a password on it.
Yeah, if it goes to your website, you can put a password on your website. I don't know if that.
Okay.
Intent the question. Let me see. Let me see. Who was it asked that question? Just looking back through the list there.
That was Julian and Julia from Lalaria.
If they're listening, Julia, do you want to clarify what you meant by sharing a blog? If it's just a post on your journey, then it is completely visible. We're a pretty open community. Just like if you were to post something on Twitter, then, it's pretty much public.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, Julia.
No, I was more wondering, So we're not particularly big, you know, we don't use Facebook or anything like that. And so we tend to write a blog, which at the moment is in Predict Wind, just for close friends and family to read. And I really like the functionality of Noforeignland. And I was thinking of shifting it to Noforeignland, but I prefer to keep it as a blog where it's more of a private blog, I suppose. And it sounds as though I could have access to it via Noforeignland if I password protect it. But if I want to have a limitation on who can read it, then Noforeignland isn't the primary vehicle I should use for keeping it.
Oh, really? No. If you're just going to put stories on your journey and put a bunch of private stories in there, no, don't do that. But what
Fantastic.
you can
Thanks
do,
very much.
if you've got something like a WordPress blog that you can put a password on, you could still track your journey and you can still put the stories on there and put what you are happy to have public. And if the link's there, then you'll show your track and you put those stories into context of your journey. So we've got people that do that as well. So that's a compromise. We just don't have the resources to do every little sort of security feature like that we'd like to.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
For
I mean,
secure
fantastic
access,
what you have. Thank you so much.
No,
And
you're
thanks
welcome.
for clarifying.
No problem.
Yeah, related to this from Janice, Steve, for people who want to follow the journey of sailors, do they have to download the app, or can you just provide a link for people to follow, like Predictune does?
Yeah, you can do either. I'll show you. If I jump, let me see how I do this. So, you can see the web browser,
Yeah,
I guess, right?
yeah.
Okay, so if I bring up Noforeignland here, first answer to the question is
That's the
yes.
website.
Yeah, this is on the website now. So yeah, if you've got relatives or friends and family back home, yes, they can install the app, they can follow your boat, and they will see notifications up here, just like I follow many boats. And we've got in here, so John on Coronado has moved, these guys have moved. They will see these notifications saying that your boat has moved. They won't see much else if they're not following other boats and if they're not, sort of involved anymore, but they will see when you visit the place or if you leave a review for something, they'll get a notifications for what you're doing. So if that works on the app, yes, absolutely. But if they're just occasional viewers and you don't, they're going to struggle with an app, then what you can do is, that's our boat. You guys are all pretty familiar with that fish by now. And if I zoom out here, you can see everything that you would see if we were using the app. Yeah, we've got the chapters here. So there's our trip from last year. So,
but it's still on the web, or sorry, on the app, or on the web?
Both would give you the same view, basically. So if I come in here and I copy that link, I can take that.
Which is the link for my tracking, right?
Yeah, that's just this URL. The URL that's in the address bar of the browser, share that.
Yeah.
So if I take this and I'll stick it in another browser tab and I paste that link in there, it goes, loads your boat page up.
Yeah.
And then you got your journey. So
pretty much like a Predictune tracking, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just have your own URL. This one is specific to us. This is for our boat Amalia. And it's with our journey on. You can do this for sea people, but I think they charge you about $60 or something a month to have it turned on. There's a bunch of options that you've got out there, but most of them, in fact, I can't think of one that you don't pay for that offers this sort of tracking. So we're shooting ourselves in the foot here. We should be making money on this, but we're not. Again, we do it mostly for for fun. And it's something we wanted for ourselves, and why not make let other people use it too. So I hope that is Janice that asked the question, right? So I hope that answers the question.
A question from Sensor. Is there any translation option in the app? so that people who don't know English can communicate with each other via the chat or the blog?
We do have translation. In fact, let me jump over to the app.
Mm-hmm.
I spend a lot more time on the app than I do the website now. So the translation that we provide is on any descriptions. So there, for example, you can see there's a translate link or translate button. Just, I just want to make that glow. Oh, there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say, for the sake of argument, I'm fluent in Portuguese. I'm really not. I'm struggling with Portuguese. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to set my language preference to Portuguese. That's set. So I come back to the same place, tap in here, hit translate, and now everything's in Portuguese.
Yeah.
So you can do that. Someone left a review here in French. I can translate it into Portuguese. I still don't understand it. So we've got translation built into the app. Yes, we do. But it's only in certain places. It's one of those things that we do have to pay for on the back end. So if we were commercial, if we're making money off of this, then we would put it on absolutely everything. So if the question was intended, can I chat with other people? Can I translate in chat? Then the answer is no. Just like WhatsApp, just like Facebook Messenger, you have to have Google Translate open on the side and translate the messages that go backwards and forwards. If the question was aimed at, can I see the information that people have typed in any language? The answer is yes, you can. You just hit that translation link below the main text in reviews and in place descriptions.
Yeah.
Spencer, does that answer the question?
For Sensor, Sensor is a bot from Turkey. You provide translation from Turkish or into Turkish?
No, I don't know, actually. That's a very demanding question. Let me have a look. I'm pretty sure. Yes, we do.
I mean, hi, this is Sencer, and yeah, definitely got my answer. Thanks for all your efforts, by the way.
Okay.
It was more like, I know English. Most people do know English, but if the other party doesn't know English, etc., it's a challenge for us to communicate. But at least I know now that I can read the blogs or read the information, and it would be really great if you could also put that into chat. That would be awesome. Thank you.
It would, but it's going to cost us a fortune, sadly. I think we spend about $50 a month with Microsoft already, but they're their cheapest translation service, and it's costing us $50 a month to do that. If you put it in chat, that's going to triple. So
I would guess so. I would guess so. Thank you.
Yeah, yes. So you're going to have to do what you do on WhatsApp, I'm afraid, and just copy paste in between. And until we get a rich benefactor come along, you're just going to have to type it in and out of Google Translate for a bit.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
It's on our to-do list, but
thanks, thanks, Sensor. From Janice, Steve. So just to be clear, when people blog on Noforeignland, there's a single URL so that the people back home can go to the website using that URL and can follow the track and the blog post similar to what they have in Predictwind, right?
Yeah, that URL will take someone to your boat page and load your journey. So it shows exactly where you are and it shows where you've been.
Okay, very good. I've come to the end of my chat questions. Anybody who wants to add a question, unmute. I have nobody coming in. Steve, that was great. So just to make sure that people understand, how do you cover your cost?
It's Patreon support.
Via Patreon.
In fact.
And the link to Patreon, people find where?
Just in case we've inspired anyone, and they're thinking, I need to give these guys some money. You can do it up here. It's the first thing in the menu. Help keep it free. You get a picture of Elena and I when we were young, tanned, and gorgeous. that's free as well.
That's like 30 years ago.
Yeah, at least. And then there's a big red button you can hit there. It takes you to the Patreon website, and you just choose an amount and hit the pledge button.
Okay.
Really easy, really easy.
Great. Listen, Steve and Helena, thank you for this. Again, for me, as an almost full-time cruiser, Noforeignland is one of the key resources that I use. Anybody doubting this? We were talking in the chat today for our fleet about Mindelo. Just have a look on Noforeignland on Mindelo and see all of the resources which are posted on Noforeignland. It's just amazing.
Yeah,
I almost
in that-
don't have to do a webinar on Mindelo because it's all there.
Yeah, there's tons there, and I think what if anyone who's still with us is more familiar with sailing in the Med, then you will undoubtedly you've used Navily. What you'll find is the moment you leave the Med, you're going to be much more dependent on Noforeignland. We've got a much deeper coverage than just about anyone now throughout all
Yeah.
of the Caribbean, the United States, and across the Pacific as well. We've actually got is it Fiji? When you arrive at Tonga, when you arrive at Tonga, they tell you to put
Yeah.
Noforeignland on your phone because the whole island, they've documented, the customs and immigration guys document everything on Noforeignland. So
Yeah.
our plan, although we're not making any money, is to take over the world, quite clearly. But like Bonneville working on this.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, thank you, Steve, for this webinar, and you and Helena for providing the services to us cruisers.
Yes, you're very welcome, and thank you for everything you're doing. Not only with us, but for all of the guys you're working with on Finding Dory. It's nice to meet the kindred spirit.
Yeah, likewise, Steve and Helena. Have a nice evening, everyone, and I'll see you next week for the webinar on insurance. Thank you
Excellent.
all.
We look forward to it.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Ciao. Good night.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.